we've had some positivity, and unfortunately, we're gonna have some negativity.
Unfortunately,
hey, it might not be unfortunate for some.
It's gonna be a movie.
hey, I'm Escanor when it comes to negativity, boy.
Hey, so I just have the topic as worst 2021 anime show, but hey man, if you got something to get off your chest, now is the time. So
is this only shows we finished, or is it anything?
Nah, it can be anything as long as it came out this year.
Like you dropped it. That's even more validation.
I'll open up the floor. Anyone who wants to go first, they can go first.
Can we get it out of the way?
Yes.
Why do y'all like this show about pedophilia so much? I just want to know.
I like the other aspects.
You can watch any fantasy show without a main character being a self-insert pedophile who beat off to his niece and his family in his previous life, and we're supposed to feel bad for him, but he's our main character. Sexual assault is played for laughs in this pedo tensei show, but as I look at my anime list, it's got a 8.8 out of 10, so it's in the top 20 best anime of all time. And I'm guessing fans of this show, or most of them, are fans of pedophilia, as we've seen in like the last 3 episodes of the second core of the show. So, man, if y'all want to touch kids, just say it. Don't try to hide behind it's a redemption story. So that's all I gotta say. Just out yourself right now, so we can put you on the list, and make sure to stay away from playgrounds like Monogatari fans have to.
It's a 7 out of 10.
I feel like one thing that Mushoku Tensei is one of those shows where, like, even though it has a problematic aspects of it, the fact that people still have it so high shows like everything else must be good. I never seen a show that had like this many problems as Mushoku Tensei not get dragged down as much as Mushoku Tensei is praised.
No, but the thing is, and then I'll shut up for a second. The thing is, like, if you try to show this to someone not in the community, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think they're just too used to this shit happening, and I'm not gonna say so many other shows, but they're used to characters like this. I think they need to do some self-reflection when they're just trying to say this is the best show of 2021. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna condemn anyone for watching it, because it's all jokes at the end of the day, but still.
Yeah, no. I think if you act like you're trying to actively defend Rudy behavior and the stuff he's doing in the show, like sexual assault and stuff, you are a sick person, because there's no reason to defend that. We all have to acknowledge, like, that shit is not cool. That shit is not right. People defending it, people saying, "Oh, in the light novel it was different." No, light novel is probably even way worse. It's probably more graphic in details. No, that shit is bad, and you should not defend that shit at all.
At least Redo a Healer knows it's trash. That's all.
Oh, speaking of Redo a Healer, listen.
Well, yeah. Well, I think like one of the appeals of Mushoku Tensei, I'll talk about some of the stuff you guys covered, but like I think the world building is phenomenal. It's pretty damn great. But I also think, and this is not to like praise Rudy, this is more praising other characters. I think having these characters, with a lot of them being in this gray area in terms of morality and how you feel about them, I think it's kind of unique in that way. Just for isekai, not to say overall, but for isekai, it's kind of unique because there's a lot of people who, if you root for them, it's kind of like, damn, they're kind of a piece of shit when I think about this and that and that and that. But I mean, like I said, this doesn't really apply to Rudy in a lot of instances, because the sexual assault thing is bad. But I'm thinking about like characters like Paul, for example, and how he struggles to be a father. I think that's like one of the interesting parts of that show, because I don't see a lot of when I see fathers in anime, they usually fall to one big extreme. Either they're the worst piece of shit you ever seen in your fucking life. You could never see Dr. Frankenstein concoct any nigga like this. Like, they're just the worst piece of shit you ever seen. Or they're the greatest. They're Maze Hughes, something like that. They're doting parents. They absolutely adore their family. They always fall to that extreme. But then you have like someone like Paul, who loves his family but has a lot of hiccups here and there. And I think that's just a microcosm of a lot of characters that are in a series where they fall in this gray area. And I think like that takes courage to make a lot of characters not totally likable, but you know, present their flaws. That's just who they are. Again, not necessarily Rudy, but they got some characters.
Paul and Joseph Joestar are the same character.
I love Joseph. Don't talk to me about Joseph. That's my favorite JoJo. I love Joseph. He don't got no flaws. I don't see him.
The part 4 makes you differ.
He a racist, but I don't see it. I don't see it.
Mushoku Tensei, I think the Rudy aside, like the other aspects of the show just overpower it. Like I enjoy all the other characters more than Rudy. Like I like Roxy, I like Paul, I like Zenith, I like Rujed, I like Eris. So all those, and just them exploring the world, the magic, the way the magic's like it looks, how it even works, and like just them traversing. It just overpowers those aspects when Rudy's doing his deviant activity, so that's why it wasn't that bad. But even after, we'll say like this stuff is just very uncomfortable, and I don't know, people try and say like, oh yeah, he's only this age, but I'm like, but he was like X before. But you know what? I'm just gonna ignore it. But it is true. Nigga. It's true. But like, that's why what happened in the last episode, I was just like, raw, there's no way they're actually gonna do this. But they did it, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna move on, because there's no point.
See what you guys think of, because I read some of the spoilers of the subplots of what happened later, and man, all right. But I have not watched it or read it, so I really can't say much. As y'all like pedophilia, so. But anyway, moving on.
After the podcast, we'll talk about the last episode, because I was going to talk about it, because it's funny. But back on worst anime, so I guess I'll go next. So I got 2 of them. First one was Riverside Peach Boy.
Oh,
yes, sir. Let's go.
I heard about that one, boy.
Oh man.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, Riverside Peach Boy, and the trailer came out. I'm like, okay, this is raw. So I watched the first 3 episodes. Cool. Now, this is where shit gets crazy. Apparently, the anime released the episodes out of order. So you're getting episode 1, 2, 3, 12. And I'm like, wait, how the fuck we get to the city? And then the next episode after that, we get episode like 7, a completely different scenario situation we're in than where we left off at. So I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be like a little flashback. And then the next episode after that, we get another completely different episode that don't tie back to what we just learned 2 episodes ago. So I'm like, this is literally the worst anime I've ever seen. Because when I think about worst anime, I think about like, okay, like worst anime for me is like anime that I like put on a certain level and you don't meet those expectations, or you go way below that expectations. Because like for like a 5 out of 5 show, if it's 5 out of 5, like for a 5 out of 10 show and it's 5 out of 10, like okay, cool, that's what I expected. But when you release your episodes out of order, and then I have to go to an outside source to figure out what the fuck is going on in your story, that's a bad production cycle. That's a bad, whoever produced that anime or release it that way.
Yeah,
bad
I think the director.
Yeah,
the director said he did it on purpose.
Yeah, he did it for no reason.
Yeah, it was the director. Like he apparently, like it was some stylistic choice, because he didn't like want the story presented the way it was. So he just like, yeah, he really fucked up. I've never heard of a story like that. He literally just fucked up the whole anime for no reason, correctly.
Haruhi Suzumiya did that famously, so maybe he was trying to copy that. But know, even like, a lot of fans like to piece it together.
Wasn't that like during the whole Endless 8 thing?
Yeah. So
I feel like even that's a little different.
Hype. I don't know.
But it's literally like it's so bad because it makes no sense. With like episode 5 ends, the main character is given a choice. It was like, okay, hey, I'm with the demon side. I want to make humans and demons come together. And then like the other side is like, oh, I want to kill all the demons. Who do you pick? And then next episode is completely different. It's like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like it is so crazy to me, and that's why that's like the worst anime I've seen this year. I got another one, but I probably won't let Satsuki go next. Get some of yours off.
Oh boy, hey, nah, you might as well just keep man. Dog.
I was about to say, because me and Satsuki are ripping the video. So.
No, you no. All right, I'll go next one. My next one. I can't believe a brother let me down. I can't believe the Sean let me down. Yasuke.
Oh, I forgot that came out this shit.
I forgot about that.
Hey, I got my top 5 worst. That's my number 4, just to let you know.
Oh my god! Like, okay. First, look, I'm not even mad about the mechs. Like I was telling Josh, and
I am.
I wasn't even mad about the mechs because my thing is like this. Okay, if you had mechs in the story, cool. If you didn't have mechs in the story, cool. Like the mechs didn't bother me. What bothered me about the story was you had 6 episodes. You knew you had 6 episodes, but the story you told was like a 12 or 24 episode story. Like, how do you put 2 arcs in 6 episodes and expect people to enjoy it? Like, it makes no fucking sense. There's literally, like, he literally could have had the first arc be 12 episodes and that'd have been cool. It'd have been great. The magic shit didn't bother me. The fact that it's a bad story is what bothered me. Like, you introduce Yasuke, you introduce his relationship with Nobunaga. We don't get nothing about your relationship with Nobunaga at all. We don't see none of the connection how he cares for him. We don't see none of these big moments that you need in character writing. It is literally a bad anime just off a plot and structure. Like Peach Boy, at least it had a story. Like at least a story you can kind of follow. You it's like a puzzle. People have puzzle. You mix that shit around, you probably get something decent. Yasuke, it is bad regardless. Forwards, backwards, skipping episodes, it don't matter. It is bad. And I am so fucking disappointed because you had the black community behind you. We was there. We was gonna be there for the episode. And then when we seen the next something is left, I stood there and watched 6 episodes thinking we gonna get something great, and you just let me down. Oh my god, Deshaun, why?
Can we talk about how like the defense force was out for like 2 days, but then everyone realized that everyone was lying about how good it was?
Hey, that was me. I raised my hand.
and the thing about the show is the show's not even about Yasuke. It's about like the most generic anime escort mission that you've seen in every other like historical show. Like not historical. It's like it's the most generic plot you could have ever came up with. Like, you know, this girl is secretly special, blah blah blah. Her mom dies, she's in hiding, he needs to escort her, blah blah blah, whatever. But the thing that makes me angry about the most, like, I wouldn't have been mad about the Magics and Mechs if the marketing was honest about it up front, but they hid that shit until you watch like 5 minutes into the first episode, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess we're not going for historical accuracy, but whatever. And then, like, the show doesn't even look that good, to be honest. It just looks like it was like I know it's shitting on JC staff before, but it looks like they animated the whole show. Then I forgot who did. Was it Mappa that did it?
I think Mappa. I think that was like when Mappa was like,
everyone's favorite
to their back. Yeah, whips to their back, working overtime. Mappa, yeah, it was crazy.
Let me look it up.
Yeah,
it was. God damn, Mappa, you did damn near everything.
Mappa was.
They waste the Flying Lotus soundtrack, which, you know, was probably the best thing of the show. I mean, the music was all right, I guess. It wasn't amazing, but, you know, Flying Lotus is like a pretty popular underground artist. They wasted that. And I'm trying to think what else. I just gotta say, Black Boatman is a funny slur. That's all I'm gonna say. because you know they couldn't be super racist in the woke anime samurai show that everyone was hoping for, because, you know, Black anime fans are like huge in the community, and they were just looking for another, like, you know, representation thing, so we don't see Black anime characters a lot. But and this was a chance for us to have, like, you know, another show we can point to, like, you know, that was raw, that was sick. And it sucks the most because, like, you know, Hassan Thomas, he's a Black creator as well, and then, you know, this show and his previous show, Cannon Busters, really didn't gain any traction either. So I'm just starting to think he's like a hack. He wants to put all the stuff that he saw that was cool in Toonami in the early 2000s. Like, we had mech, we had magic, we have, black main character like Afro Samurai. He wanted to do all this shit, but he forgot to actually craft a decent story because, like I said before, the show's not even about Yasuke himself. He's just kind of like this aimless character that we really know nothing about outside of a few flashbacks here and there, like the first couple of episodes. And I didn't even finish the show. I dropped it on episode 4. I got 2 episodes left, and I didn't even have like the will to finish it because I'm just like, whatever. The show sucks. Not good.
Yeah.
Like,
and like if you could,
I'm looking at
go ahead.
Yeah. Nah, go ahead. I was just gonna say, I'm looking at like reviews from professional outlets. They're saying it's like A+, 9 out of 10. I'm just like, bro, we gotta stop lying. The show is not good. No one's gonna remember it a year after like it came out. It's just gonna be there, and then people are just gonna like, oh, Yasuke, like, no. So it's just not good at all.
Yeah, because even with Cannabuster was like a story, like it's an alright story. It's not the amazing, it's not bad, but it's way better than Yasuke. Just the fact that like it was given enough time to tell the story we wanted to tell and be good. But Yasuke is like you literally telling like the stereotypical like older person and little kid story that you see in like Last of Us, Kratos. Like you literally have blueprints of how this story supposed to go, and you still can't get that right. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy to me.
Bro, it's Dororo, it's Sword of the Stranger, it's all these shows, and you've already seen it before. It's just uninspired. It sucks. It's not good.
One of the things about like, I think like, do people actually like watch stuff they like when you create anime, and like, do you actually like rewatch it and say like, is what I'm thinking is gonna work actually gonna work for my audience? Because I think that's when a disconnect happens, where people make something and they think like, oh, because all the ideas are already in your head. When you put it down, you're like, okay, it makes sense because you know all the little intricate details in the story you're making. But like when you put it into a media and present it to other people, they don't have the same inside knowledge that you have. So what you presenting them is not always what you get from your mind. So I think that kind of puts a bad disconnect into like most media and like how animations or stories are made poorly.
Like I said, he was more concerned about copying the shit that he thought was cool rather than actually making a decent story, which sucks because, this is an untapped like part of history that no one really knows that much about.
Yeah.
He had this perfect opportunity to craft like a real deal story and just get all over it.
Who do you think the target audience was? If y'all could say.
It was black anime fans, casual.
Yeah, he lost me as soon as I heard mechs. I said, okay, you do mechs, you've lost me, bro. Immediately. I didn't even watch it.
He'd even lose me with that because my whole mentality was like, I like to be open-minded. So I'm thinking in my mind, like, this is obviously that's not what any of us was expecting because of how it was marketed, how it was presented to us in the beginning. Because it was just like, Black Samurai. That's the only thing that niggas was thinking about. But I was willing to give it a chance because I'm like, okay, it's its own show. It can do whatever the fuck it wants. But it felt like the whole Black Samurai Yasuke story was just, it was just the setting. It was just the background. It wasn't an actual like springboard for his story. It was just, we're setting it in this time. Nigga, we got you Nobunaga. Nigga, we got you some samurais. And we got you some magic and mech. Like, nah.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like his pitch was on an index card. It was just Yasuke plus magic, and then throw escort mission or whatever else you want to throw in there. It's just pitch meeting to Netflix. They're like, oh, bet this is going to be huge because we have all the black anime fans. We got the people that like Afro Samurai. We have casuals who see, oh, Yasuke, that looks interesting, and then it just flopped and no one talked about it like a week or two after it came out.
Yeah, that's very, very disappointing. I didn't know he did Cannon Busters as well. That makes me want to not watch it even more because I didn't like that show. That show was very mediocre. But I'm just gonna say my two because I don't have that many shows. The first one is, I've already talked about it on other podcast episodes, but Big Hero, that is literally the reason why the reason why I don't this is why I don't listen to anybody when they're giving me recommendations, because I said, let me keep an open mind. Let me try it, because I even saw the title and I'm just like, bro, what's his title? It's just nonsense, bro. But I'm like, okay, cool. Let me try it. Bro, this is the first show when I said, let me do 2 times speed. I've never done that before when I'm watching anime. I'm watching 2 times. I'm not even consuming the thing. I'm just looking at the time I reach 20 out of 20. Honestly, waste of time, bruv. I don't want to talk about that show anymore. Yeah, characters all waste, man. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And then the second one, yeah. This one hurts me because I was really championing it, but it let me down. So, Wonder Egg Priority, bruv. These guys, they don't know what they were doing. I was having a good time up until episode 10. Then they did a mad thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know where you're going. 11 and 12 were weird, but they were like, okay, we got a special episode. So I was like, okay, you guys obviously have a plan. No, they did not. Half the episode was recap, and then the other half was just some amalgamation of I don't even know what. And I'm just like, bro, why did you write, like Perry was saying with Yasuke, why did you write a 24 episode show in a show where you had 12 episodes? It's not making sense to me. You had all these cool concepts. I was like, oh yeah, she got a keyblade, and you wasted it. You had Naru, she's an AI. What does that? Where did that come from? I thought she was a human. It's pure exasperation.
One of the girls AI?
Yeah, she's an AI.
Oh shit, I didn't get that far. I got to episode 7. That's kind of like if it went out of memory.
Don't
I think from whenever they introduce like this isn't what they are, but I just called them Pokemon. Once they introduced them, I said this is when they started to fall off with me.
No
when
cap.
They introduced the Pokemon. No capu.
The blind will haunt me for. They let me down. They let me down. Man. I was like, yeah, One Day Priority, this is a great show. It's coming out week after week. I was there, and they failed me, man. Hey,
all I gotta say is Cloverworks has 3 shows airing in January, and I put out a tweet in a Satsuki server about the animator tweeting about how he was like sleeping at his desk, so it's only gonna get worse. So, Cloverworks also put out Promise Neverland season 2. That was them, right?
Yeah, it was.
I think so. Yeah.
Hey, shouts out to them for putting out 2 bombs this year.
Damn, we damn near talked about my worst shit already. So like, I'm only doing my top 5. I could do 10, but we just want to do 5. I'm not even going to elaborate on all of them. I'm just going to say it. Number 5 is Juron, whatever.
The Snow White
like
thing.
One episode of that shit was terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Like that one I don't even have to talk about. It just wasn't good. Like throughout, but I finished it for some reason. Number 4 was Yasuke. We already talked about that. Not good. Number 3 was The Promised Neverland season 2. Super disappointing. I was noticing that it was cutting things out, but I was like, okay, whatever. Just typical anime thing. It's cutting things out because of whatever reason. But once we got to the bunker and they did not introduce the person who became my favorite character, who replaced Isabella, which is a hard thing to do. They didn't have him, and he was just an empty chair. I said, hey nigga, what is this? And from that point on, they just continued to disappoint. The Promised Neverland was probably one of the most disappointing experiences. If not for number 2, Higurashi Sotsu. Trash. When Choco was talking about watching shit at 2x speed, I damn near thought about watching this shit at 3x speed. My eyes couldn't even follow it, but I was just going to do it just to see I did it. That shit was trash. We went from murder mystery, it wasn't totally grounded, granted, but we went from that to Dragon Ball Z-S fights where niggas are floating, they got aura, they fighting like Vegeta and Goku in the Saiyan saga. I'm like, what is this? and Sakato is one of the worst characters I've ever had the displeasure of watching this year, or shit, in my whole career of watching anime. And number one, Choke already talked about Higehiro. Garbage. Rex, this show is garbage. Anybody else hyping this shit up is garbage.
You guys want to talk about why it's garbage? Because I don't think you really said why.
Okay, like, what's the show about? What's the show about?
Okay, so it's like, hold on, let me look up the title, because the title pretty much.
What's it? I shaved and I bought a high school go home. This man is like what, 25 or something?
Yeah, it's Higehiro. After being rejected, I shaved and took in a high school runaway.
You what?
Now, let me the reason why I watched it in the first place. Like, I thought the title was bad already, so I wasn't gonna watch it initially, but good friend Rex pushed this show, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I ended up watching it. The synopsis, like, is also a red flag, but I think if you think about it in a way of just like thinking about runaway kids, like that's not something that's really explored too much in anime. And I think like the whole concept of somebody like raising a runaway like that is interesting, but it's only interesting in concept. When you actually have it play out and you execute it by presented it as like a rom-com, where it's like the main character, I think his name is Yoshida, is like, it's kind of like one of those things of, will he do it or will he not get with the high school girl Sayu, and it's not good, dog. It's not good. Like, you could have just had this whole like wholesome relationship between these two, of him like being a father figure almost to her, but they present it in a way where it's like he instead is the romantic interest, and he's just trying to not get with her because she's in high school, but he still wants to do it. Like, they're very explicit with the fan service and whatnot, so it's not tasteful or anything of the sort.
Yeah, like several times she tries to actually come on to him, several times, like actually like, oh yeah, I'll sleep with you, and it's just very awkward. And even when he's rejected her like several times, she's still trying it, even in like the 11th episode of the season. I'm just like, are you still on this? Like, come on, man.
I think the worst part, like, I'm just thinking about it, I think one of the worst parts was he had a girl a woman he was interested in, Goto.
Mm-hmm.
Big titties. He was interested in her, and then eventually we found out that she was interested in him, and for no reason at all, these two characters don't get together, for no reason other than the fact that they still want to push the romance between Sayu and Yoshida. They already established that this character has romantic feelings for this woman around his age, who works with him and whatnot. Like, this is an unproblematic relationship, but it just doesn't happen because of what? Like, it's no reason for this relationship not to happen, other than, like I said, they want to push the problematic relationship between the high schooler and the grown-ass man.
But Sasuke's a popular light novel, so obviously it must be good.
That shit was trash, man. That was the worst experience. Like, Higurashi was up there for sure, but the crawl I had, like, with Higurashi, it felt like a crawl uphill. With Higehiro, it felt like a crawl. It felt like a crawl, like I'm crawling up to heaven. Like, I had to like just catch the air somehow, and I just can't, and I just keep falling on my fucking face, and then there's glass on the ground, and I'm bleeding, and I'm crying at the same time. That shit was terrible. I don't know how I finished that show to this day.
Blood, sweat, and tears. That's how.
I guess I'll go with my shows. I don't really have like a terrible show per se, but I'm just gonna mention some ones I thought were kind of overrated. Well, overrated doesn't mean like it's the least favorite, but let's start with. I'm just gonna go through these very fast. X-Arm. It's just a meme. It's funny with the opening. That sounds like it's from some band like My Chemical Romance. It's just funny. Looks like an eyesore. I don't know why it was animated. I don't know why it's all the light of day. Another Crunchyroll collaboration that just crashed and burned like got a high school and you know, other shit like that. But I didn't watch it. I read the manga before the show came out. I didn't watch the show, but yeah, it just looks like the worst shit I've ever seen animated. But yeah, let's see what else. We already talked about Pedo Tensei, and then I'm gonna say this doesn't mean the show was bad, but Sunny Boy, it's like I want to say it's like an ambitious failure. Like I like what it's going for, and like I want to say I want more shows like this that try to do different things than what we see in the typical anime per season, trying to tell like this intricate plot without, you know, all the normal anime hijinks where people are like screeching really loud and, you know, just acting like anime characters do. You all know what I'm talking about. But the problem with the show is that they tried to do so much. None of the characters got any, like, they were never fleshed out, you know, like it just wanted to tell like this weird one-off stories that really didn't connect to anything. It tried to be like this whole deep coming of age story without making you actually care for any of the characters besides Mizuho, as you know, Satsuki can talk about himself. But yeah, it's just I want more shows like this, but shows that are actually, you know, good. But that's not to say the show was like his favorite. I just think it's massively overrated for the fans that like it, and you know, this quote unquote, it tried to be too deep without actually telling a decent story. So there's that. Then next, I want to say 86 mid, way better mecha / military shows. I don't know why this one took off. It sucks. Satsuki knows it sucks. He gives it like a 6 out of 10, but he's still watching
no. I like 86. It's definitely overrated though, for sure.
I don't understand why this show took off when there's way better mecha / military shows. Besides, like, there's even better waifus that look way better than Bladeline. I don't get it. It's probably just light novel hype. Don't understand. A1 Pictures also can't keep the schedule up, so I don't understand. 86 mid. You've seen this before. If you watch any mecha show, y'all niggas are lying. You're freaking mouth breathers. Go watch some real shit. Pick up any mecha show from the 80s onwards, and you'll see something way better. So I just want better for the community. So there's that.
Not getting it.
Yeah, sure. I watched 3 episodes and it was like paint drying. But anyway, next I want to talk about Vivi. Like I said, another hype show for no good reason whatsoever besides it looks pretty. Like, you've seen it before. Like, are AIs really human? Can they develop feelings? Blah, blah, blah. Pick up any science fiction book from the 60s onwards, you fucking mouth breathers. Like I'll say once again,
hey,
you're making the anime community look terrible when you're hyping up these shit shows just because of which new studio that you like to fillet just because Trigger, you know, takes their time and makes actual decent shows. And then Wit, they had Attack on Titan, so everyone wants to fucking, I don't know, blow their load whenever Wit comes out with something like Wit Eyes is the meme that everyone just, you know, with their shit back and forth, these quote unquote aesthetic anime accounts. You won't remember this show in 2 years, in 1 year, and then the hype cycle would come back around for Spy Family. Like, we already got them overhyping Osama ranking. Like, I haven't even watched it. I know it's probably not even that good. It's probably a good show, but still, the wit hype is crazy. Vivi's fucking terrible.
Hey, the music was slapping though. That's what I'll say. The music slaps.
Yeah. It's a show about singing, and there's no songs 4 episodes in. That's when I dropped it. So
because he's trying to find her voice, Josh.
Yeah, she was trying to sing.
Watch any show with AIs. Watch Ghost in the Shell. Watch
play Detroit Become Human, nigga.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but literally watch any other show about AI. Even iRobot. Shit, Vivi, awful show. And then this last show was the anime critical, the romance critical darling of the season, if you will, called Horimiya. Just
Hey, hold on.
Well, let me
Record
finish.
scratch.
I'm not saying the manga's bad, but the adaptation is terrible. Like, you can tell they're speeding through everything. Like, you can't get a feel for the characters. Like, you don't care about anything at all. Everything moves so fast. You're just like, you've been on 3 minutes, but this character's having this emotional, like, breakdown about how, like, the guy that she's into, it's not giving her any attention, but we've only seen them on screen for like 3 minutes because the show just likes to speed past everything. And by the end of the 12 episodes, they went through 12, 13 volumes of the manga, so you don't care about any of the characters. None of the scenes have emotional weight. The characters just feel paper thin cliches, I'm not saying that Hori and Miyamura are bad characters, but I'm just like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know why this show has an 8 out of 10. The adaptation's awful. Actually, it's a 1 out of 10 adaptation-wise, because even I can tell without reading the manga that they're just rushing them. Well, it's not 1 out of 10. It's 1 out of 10 to me, because, hyperbole, but just a bad adaptation. I don't get it. Like, read some real romance. Read quintessential quintuplets. Go.
That came out this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Watch some real romance. Stop Kaguya season 2. Don't read the manga because it's dead now. But yeah, there we go. Horimiya overrated.
Well, if you're wondering why,
that's all I got.
If you're wondering why I invited Josh, that's why. The contrast in opinions.
Yeah, you gotta have it.
You have
but
to.
Yeah. I think I'll just say this much when it comes to Horimiya, because that was in my top 5. I do think Josh's opinion is going to be a little different from mine, just because I watched the anime and I eased into the manga, and I saw the differences. Like, Josh is right when it comes to, like, there's a lot of moments that are like, they kind of just like fast forward to it because it's all out of order in the anime. I don't know why they did it like that, but the order is kind of a little of a mess. I do think they did some moments here and there better than how the manga presented it, but yeah, pretty much I just had fun with it. Like, it wasn't one of those things where I was looking, other than Hori and Miyamura, I wasn't like looking for anything to eat with the other characters. When it came to like Yuki or Toru, anything like that, I wanted more. I didn't get that much, at least from the anime, but I was like, all right.
I will say that one day that Twitter was trying to cancel Hori for being quote unquote what homophobic. That was funny.
Oh yeah, I remember that, because she had a comment like you can.
He was cheating on her, but she's like, as long as it's not like a guy.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. I think because I saw the director said that they were aiming to adapt all the main moments in the manga. When I read the manga, they did do that in the anime, so that's why I was like, yeah, the anime is cool. I mean, even with the manga, the manga's not crazy detailed, because it's even based on the original series is like a 4 coma, so it's only like it wasn't originally crazy detailed anyway, so it's alright for me.
That's not least favorite, it's just mid and should be like a 6 out of 10 instead of an 8 out of 10.
I respect
at least to me.
I respect it. I mean, Vivi, I don't love Vivi, but the music was cool, so I mean, I'll let it rock.
What music?
Hey, if you get further into the series, they be getting them tunes out.
Oh. So you think it gets better? It gets better. You just got to get through the bad parts. It gets better. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say it gets better, but the music was slapping.
Hey, I was not riding for Vivi.
Yeah, I won't clap for Vivi.
8.7 out of 10. Jesus.